Hello hobby friends, I'm Jason and this is Level Up Hobbies. Now today I'm going to give you a quick update of my Age of Darkness Legion, the Dark Angels. Now I'm just going to cover the units that I have completed and then what I have in the pipelines. So let's go ahead and jump in and I'll see you at the end. And here we have the first unit of Dark Angels that I've completed. It's just a 5-man unit of Cataphracti Terminators. And I've actually got like, I think 25 more of these guys that I have to build and kit out. I just haven't decided how I want to do that yet. So those are in the works. Now with this unit, as it was the first one that I started painting, that I completed painting, I really used it as kind of a tester. I probably should have used one of just the Marine units instead of the Terminators, but here we are. But just to see how I wanted to paint this army, and I really wanted to focus on the heraldry on the armor, because they do come from just a world that was covered in knightly orders. So their heraldry really reflects where they came from. And I mean, you can see this a lot with like the Forge World models and the paint jobs that came from that. And I really wanted to push this throughout my army. I don't really know what the hell I'm doing, because I don't know any of the heraldry. I'm just, you know, breaking up armor panels with like different checkers and just divisions of the armor of you know, blocks of color, and just playing around with what works and what doesn't. I've also picked up the Dark Angels transfer sheet from well, not Forge World anymore, it's just through the Games Workshop website, but I picked that up, and they have a lot of cool elements that I can incorporate onto the armor and those different pieces of heraldry. So that's awesome. And then another thing that I really had to nail down on this is what to highlight my black armor with. Traditionally, I've always done black armor for my Dark Angels, you know, like Ravenwing, in like deep purples and highlighting up to like a gray, so there's like a nice transition, and then that bright highlight. And that was just kind of to denote that highly polished, highly oiled look that you can get from, you know, a real glossy black paint job. And I got that idea from reading the Dark Angels books from, I believe it might have been in Ravenwing, where they're always just, you know, polishing up their armor, polishing up their bikes, you know, to just, you know, a high gloss feel. So I kind of wanted that like mirrored oiled black look, and that's what I'm going for on here. But the purple highlights that I had chosen, they just seemed like it was too much for me. So I kind of changed that and went to a different cool gray. And you can see that if you look at these different these different Terminators, how some of them have like a deep purple initial highlight, and then some of them have more of almost like a bluish gray highlight. And that was just me testing to see what I like, you know, better. I'm not going to go back and paint these guys. I'm just moving forward. Whichever one I choose, that's what it's going to be. Another thing that I decided to do with this paint job is to kind of pick out different models, and if you can see his right knee, it's painted green. That's to show that he is actually one of the recruits from Caliban, and just to set him apart and kind of add to that heraldry aspect of it. But the Marines from Caliban had like a green, I think they'd had green on their shoulder pauldron, But I was just kind of switching it up and just adding something to the armor to denote that. And right here you can see the differences between those two highlight colors that I'm testing out on these models. On the left, it's just the kind of a cool gray. It's actually somber gray is the initial highlight from Vallejo game. And then on the right, it's a dark violet for that initial highlight. And I don't know, I can't really decide which one I like better. I think the one on the left is a little bit more subtle. The violet one kind of pops out more. So, I don't know. It's something I'm going to have to decide on soon because I've got 30 Marines that I'm going to be painting up, so that's something I'm going to have to narrow down. And here's the second completed unit. Just a single guy, you know, just the chaplain. This guy was fun to paint because with him being a character model, I tried to push it just a tad bit more and just went a little bit further with some of the highlights and played around with his cloak there. This guy, like the interior of the cloak, I wanted it a white, and I wanted to try something different, kind of add some like texture to it. So what I ended up doing was stippling a deep cool gray into the recesses, and then just transitioning that up to pure white on the extreme highlights. And that was fun, and I did that. I actually kind of did a wet blend with that while I was stippling, just to blend it throughout, and just kept going back and adding the darks if I needed it, or adding the lights if I needed it. And then on the back, to separate the colors of that cloak from the armor, I painted the entire exterior part of the cloak in Corvus black, because that's more of a almost basically like a charcoal black. It's not black, it's more of a deep gray. And then I highlighted that up with the same gray that I used to shade the interior of the cloak, if you know what I'm talking about there. But yeah, so I think it turned out pretty well. This guy, he was a lot more fun to paint than I anticipated. I didn't really like this model, but after painting him, I think he turned out really well. And working on, like with those Terminators, the heraldry, just incorporating that into the armor on his right greave there. You can see it's painted up. I've got his checkers on there, and then those the medallions. I don't know what they're called, but like that hold his cape to his armor. I also worked that into it on there. Took some of the decals and added those to the cloak to add a little bit more, I don't know, just depth and dynamic movement to the cloak. I don't even know if that's right, but yeah, just wanted to add more to the cloak. And I even thought about going through and doing some like pinstriping along the edges, but I passed that. You know, I'll wait and try that on another model. But yes, so this guy, I think he turned out pretty good. And I painted him pretty quick too. He didn't take me very long at all. And here I want to show off some of the troops. I've got 30 Marines here. None of these guys are 100% complete. These guys are probably about 70%. Because I mean they're all base coated. I need to go in. I need to do some washes and highlights. And the biggest part of this is going to be going through and adding that heraldry and stuff, and just kind of picking out different details that I want to kind of embellish on these guys. Because I mean I've got 30 of them, and if I want to paint checkers on every one of them, that's going to be time consuming. So I need to decide what I'm going to do and how much. But yeah, so that's coming down to just finalizing these guys, and then they will be ready for the army. But yeah, that's really about it. I've got in the works, I have the Forge World Dark Angels Cataphracti Praetor. He is primed and ready to go. I also have not a Cataphracti, but a Contemptor Dreadnought that is also primed, magnetized and primed and ready for really just base coats and detailing. So hopefully I'll have another video soon highlighting all of that for you guys, and then actually highlighting these guys once they're complete. But until I get those done, this is what I've got. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and it's fun showing this off. I like kind of documenting this process and just the overall outcome that I'm getting from these guys, and I'm glad I got to share it with you. So, all right, I'm gonna jump out of here, guys. Take it easy. Hey guys, thanks for joining me here for this hobby update. If you enjoyed the video, please give me a like and subscribe down below. And don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can be notified whenever I publish new material. Thanks again, and remember, build, paint, and play tabletop games. Later.